Hello everyone, welcome to Stan the Wine Man TV. I am your host, Stan Rutan, and this is a Blue Collar Wine Show where I help you spend your wine dollars wisely. I want to give a quick shout out to some new subscribers. You know, I'm starting to get up closer to 1,000. That's very exciting for me, and I really appreciate all of you who have subscribed and watched and asked questions or made comments. It's really exciting for me. I really like it. This is what I love. I love the wine world. I'm very passionate about it. So, new subscribers recently, Team Nile, Tomas Tetransky, hope I got that right, Greg Weatherford, Darren Carlson, Peter Hunt, and I believe Erica Barda and G. Philip C., Nova Hudson, Jeremiah Diaz, Heather Washington. If I mentioned you twice, it's okay. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much for subscribing. I hope you're enjoying these episodes. Each year on my wine blog, stanthewineman.com, which I'll put a link to, I announce a winery of the year. Last year I skipped it. Things were just too weird, the 2 years, so I skipped it, but I'm going back to it. And this year I picked a winery, very small winery. However, when I tasted these wines and realized they were great QPRs, quality to price ratio wines, all in the mid-20 range, which is really good for the quality especially. I found out that this winemaker for this winery, Dusty Jenkins, is also the head winemaker at Gilbert Cellars. And I'm very excited. I like their wines quite a bit as well. So like a lot of wineries will let their head winemaker go off and do another project just to help them express their artistry, their artistic nature, and their passion. And he's very happy with his job at Gilbert Cellars, but he's very excited to be doing this as well. And it's called Scrublands Winery out of Washington State. And I'm excited to go through these and try them with you. I've tried them before. It's been a while since I've tried them, so I'm very excited to do this. He has some other wines which I'll review in future episodes. I'll be talking about Dusty Jenkins and his wines throughout the year, just because, you know, that's what I always do with my winery of the year. So he's my 2024 winery of the year. Let's get started right off the bat with this is a cool wine. 2022 Petnat Rouge Sparkling Barbera, Yakima Valley AVA. This rolls in at $27. And it's crazy. Petnat, of course, we've talked about this, and I'll refresh your memory. Petnat is a process of making wine in which they allow the wine to ferment, but before it finishes fermentation, they bottle it. So the secondary, as it's going through its fermentation, finishing its fermentation in the bottle, it creates carbon dioxide, which gives it the bubbles. And they're very light bubbles. They do no dosage. They cap it with a bottle cap, which I have over there. And most of them are bottle cap. And they're very cool wines. And I think it's going to be a trend in 2024 that more people will experiment with Petnat wines. They're not like your, normal Chardonnay-based or Pinot Noir-based wines. They can do just about any varietal they want in the Petnat style. And of course, he's doing a Barbera. He's very fascinated by Italian grapes grown in Washington State. And I've mentioned this many times, Washington State, they're able to grow successfully many wines, varietals, great varietals in Washington State. I will be finding a time to go over and interview Dusty Jenkins for the channel. That'll be exciting. I'm excited to do that. And let's see what we get on the nose with this Petnat Rouge Sparkling Barbera, $27. So on the nose, you get I'm getting some interesting, almost like a cross between strawberry, plum, blackberry. Nice kind of, nice aromatics. I even get a hint of black olive in there. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice and fresh. Just a little bit of frizzante. If you're a big Vino Verde fan, that are sparkling in the mouth. This has a little bit more sparkle than a Vino Verde, but not much. Nice, the black olive notes come through. Now I'm getting some blackberry notes. And that's what so I said strawberry. I'm more in the blackberry plum element. Nice and fresh and juicy in the mouth. Light tannins. Very easy to drink, but delicious. It's a 10 in the delicious category. But I'm going to say plum, blackberry notes, with a little teeny, tiny hit of cranberry on the backside, which I didn't get on the nose. Good acidity, nice and fresh and clean. Just a really great wine to pop and pour with friends that maybe never have tried a pet nat before. This would be a great example of a pet nat. I'm going to pull back on the cranberry. Sorry guys, this, I do this all the time when I'm taking tasting notes. Sometimes I go, wait a minute, that's not cranberry. More raspberry, so blackberry, plum, and raspberry. Picture that, juicy, fresh, good acidity, good food wine. This would be, I could have this with ham. I could have this with a hamburger. It'd be great with a hamburger. Blue cheese, fantastic, crazy. Yeah, it's interesting. I went to a som class one time. Now, I sort of disagree with this. Not disagree. I guess they say if you taste something, re-smell it, see if you get that on the nose. I think sometimes you can get things on the nose that you don't get in the mouth. I'm just saying. I'm a little bit of a rebel in that sense. I don't think everything's just, crystal clear when it comes to wine. Such a crazy product. Really cool. Yeah, just nice raspberry. Maybe there is just a touch of cranberry with that raspberry, with the plum, with the blackberry up front. Nice flow across the palate. Good integration of acidity and fruit. Very cool wine. Yeah, I like this one a lot. And so I'm going to go B plus A minus on this wine. Just a really good wine. And I'll show you the label. I love this label. There is an actual critter called a sage rat, but I think he is referring to what they kind of a reference to, cellar workers a little bit. And they call them cellar rats. And you're in the land of sage, so sage rat, kind of a, these guys take pride in that, being called cellar rats. They really do. I've been involved in some harvest work, and I know what they're talking about. It's just a really fun thing to do. Call me a cellar rat, I don't care. Cool name, cool label, and he has a sage rat right there. You see that, and then on the back, there's his back label, and it's 100% Barbera, unfined, unfiltered, which is very Pentallant Natural. Pet nat is short for. Very common to be unfiltered. It kind of hedges toward what natural wine people would admire and like. I don't really get into the whole natural wine thing because I just want it to be good. I just want it to be good wine. I understand the natural wine movement. I get it. I'm just not passionate about that particular subject. Okay, let's move on to the 2021. This is 22. This is a 21. Scrublands Red from Sage Rat. This rolls in at $26. The Cab Franc, 55%, 45% Sangiovese, Yakima Valley AVA, unfined, unfiltered. And so that's obviously the direction he wants to go. Sage Rat, Scrublands Red. I really appreciate my local people that watch this. My homies, as I like to say, who came in after I announced my winery and said they wanted to try some of these wines. And actually I've seen kind of a pickup in sales of this wine at the store, which is really cool. I'm glad my homies listen to me and appreciate my opinion on wines, and everybody came back and said they agreed they were really good. So dark in color, kind of toward the ruby darkness there. You can see through it, but it's, garnet, ruby garnet. Working on my colors, guys. Bear with me, please. And any tips you can give me. I know there's just 3 basic colors of reds, but sometimes I forget what they are. Because I'm not a color guy, really. But it is important, and this one's medium dark. So on the nose, I get a real earthiness, like not wet forest floor, but dried forest floor. A little bit of funk, which is cool. That black olive comes through on this one as well. I'm getting some cherry notes, maybe just a touch of currant. And that earthiness, you know, kind of like a, you know, dried needles, dried dirt sort of thing with the black olive. And I am getting a touch of blackberry, heading towards what you'd say boysenberry, you know, the little bit fatter berry. Let's see what we get on the palate. Nice intensity, lighter tannins, nice cherry, dark cherry fruit comes through with that little underneath hedge of boysenberry coming through. The black olive essence, a kiss as I like to say, of black olive is coming through there. Just nice balance, good integration, nice flow across the palate, good acidity, so this wine could lay down for 3 to 4 years. Little candy-esque cherry notes come through on the back side of this one. It's drier on the finish than up front. Nice mid-palate expansion, but not huge. This is a very delicate style wine with good intensity, if that makes sense. If that makes any sense at all. I hope I made some sense. Did I make some sense? You see, little action in the mouth, and you get the kind of black raspberry notes come through on the backside as well. So, like, it's interesting that the black raspberry, currant, a little bit of currant, a little bit of cherry, dark cherry, a lot of dark cherry, good acidity, that earthiness kind of lies underneath and stays with it from beginning to end. This is a dangerous bottle of wine. Even a touch of, no, I'm going to skip that one. So this is a, again, Cab Franc. So you can see that Cab Franc gives it that kind of interesting flavor profile, but no, that's probably the earthiness that comes from the Cab Franc. Sangiovese, you're going to get the cherry notes there, and maybe the boysenberry from the Cab Franc as well. So this was it. Like I said, I'm going to go with the Sage Rat Scrublands Red. I'm going to go B+, A- as well. It's a really, it's a dangerous wine. Just saying, be easy to drink, and great food wine, by the way. You could have this with any sort of a stew, hamburger, burritos. Nothing too spicy, of course. Lighter tannins, so the tannins won't get in the way. Now, let's move on to the very first one I tried from Sage Rat, and I just fell in love with this one, and then we tried the other ones, and they were good as well. The 2022 Barbera Yakima Valley AVA, unfined, unfiltered. This rolls in at $27. Very interesting label, but I'm glad he put the Sage Rat here so you can kind of get an idea what it's all about. Boy, the finish on this one is hanging with me. That's a good sign, guys. Always good to have a longer finish, and it's a delicious longer finish. Yeah, it's interesting that in the past wineries of the year that I have chosen, they've gotten some good exposure from that. So I'm always happy to help, for sure, and I hope I can help Dusty Jenkins get recognition. I remember discovering Long Ship Cellars with Kyle and Cassie Welch, and we still have a really good relationship with each other, and I love their wines. I love his wines as well. So color, again, we're getting into the ruby dark color, hedging towards, yeah, You can't see through this one as much as you can see through that one. Just saying. Let's see what we get on the nose. So I get currant, cherry, blackberry. Again, I get that kind of an earthiness on the nose as well. And just a tiny, tiny hint of licorice. Sweet little palate. Nice, juicy, fresh. Almost gives it a crunchiness, acidity on this one. Really interesting flavor profile on this Barbera. It reminds me, it's kind of cool, of a Barbera from Piedmont. It has that kind of good acidity. It has a high tone on the palate too, like almost like wants to go cranberry on you, but it doesn't quite get to the cranberry element. I get the cherry notes, really, really bright cherry notes on this one. The blackberry, kind of an underripe blackberry element coming through. This is a very interesting wine in the sense that it's a food wine, and I appreciate that. You have to have food with this to make it a better flavor in your mouth. But even without food, it has a nice freshness, clean, juicy feel in the mouth. There, that raspberry note comes through with the cranberry, just like on the first one. The tannins are there. They have just a tiny, tiny little bit of attitude on them, but not much. And I think I'm sensing blueberry. Yeah, more blueberry than blackberry. Once again, you pair this with barbecue chicken would be fantastic. You pair it with spare ribs. You pair it with anything. This acidity on this wine is awesome, nicely balanced, good integration. I believe this wine will age easily 10 years, easily, based on that structure that's in the wine. I like that finish, that nice kind of blueberry, cranberry, raspberry thing going on. Yeah, I really think they're all fantastic wines. I think the Scrublin is more what you would, serve to your friends because you don't know what they like. I think this one would be for those guys that like old world wines, come over, share a little bit of this, especially if you're having food with it. I am going to have it with whatever I'm having for dinner tonight, which I'm not sure what I'm having. I think I know, but I'm not positive. Great food wine. I'm going to go B+, A- on that well. They're all so well made. And I'm not doing it just because he's my winery there. I'm doing it because, that's why I chose him, Sage Rat, as my winery of the year. Because the wines are so well made. And again, they're not in the teens, I know that, but they're in the mid-20s, which is affordable, not an everyday wine, of course, but certainly something you can afford and serve at a meal or with your friends, and you are going to enjoy these wines. What's that air quote thing? I hate that. No, I think you will enjoy all his wines. I hope to get my hands on some more so I can review them as well. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day. I really appreciate it. And I hope you're enjoying these episodes. I hope you get a chance to try some of the Sage Rat wines. He only has 1,000 case production. So if you get a chance, get your hands on some or go online. You could probably buy them online, I'm sure of that. If you haven't already and you would like to know what's coming up, subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate that very much. You'll know what's going on. And I got some exciting things coming up. I'm going to interview him. I'm actually going down to Woodinville day after tomorrow. And I'm going to be interviewing Michael and Andrew Janik. I hope Michael shows up. But I know Andrew's going to be there for sure, and we're going to talk about some really cool things, and I'll put that up next week. You keep watching, and I'll keep helping you spend your wine dollars wisely.